Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, you're going to meet one of the leaders with Texas Capital Bank. She's going to talk about what their bank is doing to separate themselves in a very crowded field. That's next.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
Well, I think you'll agree with me that DFW is the home of all banks. I don't know if there are more Starbucks in Dallas-Fort Worth or banks in Dallas-Fort Worth. And so it's a very noisy, very crowded field. But every once in a while, banks stand up and they separate themselves from the pack. And that describes my next guest, Nancy McDonnell. She is with Texas Capital Bank. She's the head of Treasury Solutions. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you, Jeff. It's great to be here.
Absolutely. That would be a fun fact. I mean, are there more Starbucks or banks here? So when Texas, maybe a little history lesson. So tell us about Texas Capital Bank.
So Texas Capital Bank was started about 25 years ago. We celebrated our 25th anniversary actually last year. The bank was actually founded by a strong group of Texas bankers that had lived through one of the many Texas banking crises. We've had several, unfortunately. But these group of gentlemen started this bank to really serve Texas and the Texas economy, whether that's our oil and gas, our insurance businesses, our real estate businesses. So the bank was really founded very much by Texans for Texans. And where we are now is we find ourselves, as we like to say, on our transformation journey. So the management team at Texas Capital is relatively new in the terms of banking. We've been there about 4 years and really come in to transform Texas Capital Bank to, we think, what was the original mission, which was to serve fully the Texas economy and the people and businesses of Texas.
Sure, and even before you came to Texas Capital, you had a long career in other banks. How would you say Texas Capital separates itself from others?
I did. I started here in Dallas. I graduated from Texas Tech University. I will not give that year, but I did graduate from Texas Tech University and came right to Dallas into a management training program with a bank that was a long-time bank, and then I joined a very, very large global financial institution. And how does Texas Capital separate itself? I think the vision that we have, again, around our transformation story is to be very focused against what we deliver for Texas individuals, for companies, for municipalities. And we separate ourselves by being a full services, financial services firm here in the state of Texas, but also with a very local flavor. We are headquartered here in Dallas. We have locations in the 5 major cities, and I think we separate ourselves by being very local, but with a very, very large select section of offerings and solutions. So I think that's how we differentiate ourselves.
Yes, and Texas Capital is a content creation machine. They've created like dozens and dozens of videos on YouTube. We found one that features you. Let's go ahead and roll that now.
As head of Treasury Solutions at Texas Capital Bank, I'm excited to share with you that we're putting better technology and more capabilities in place to provide even more relevant services. If you're looking to transact outside the U.S. or efficiently collect and disperse funds, my team can help with offshore payments and provide robust receivables and payment solutions. Maybe you're exploring options for more visibility and control of your business's cash activities. We have multiple channels to help. Texas Capital Bank is committed to being a financially resilient bank that's easy to do business with. Our proactive approach to relationship management is designed to help you leverage the solutions that enable you to scale your business. Our team provides top-tier strategic consulting and advisory services, allowing you to focus on running your business. If you're thinking about your next banking partner, choose Texas Capital Bank. We're ready to help your business grow.
And I know one of the things you're very passionate about is cybersecurity, making sure you're protecting your clients. Talk about that.
So, Jeff, you may be aware, it is Cybersecurity Awareness Month. It's also Fraud Prevention Month. We all need to be incredibly cognizant that of all the steps that we are taking to prevent our security, our funds, all the data and information that we have to remember that the bad guys are out there doing just as much. So if you think about all the advantages of artificial intelligence, which is really just the next step in machine learning, that while we're using this and deploying this to help our clients, that the bad guys are out there as well. So we think every day is a cybersecurity awareness day, a fraud day. It has to become ingrained in the way you run your business to take care and be that thoughtful individual who doesn't click on the wrong link, who doesn't take the wrong phone call or accept an email that you really don't think sounds right. Your gut will help you out most times.
And the bad guys have gotten very sophisticated. I don't think a day goes by where I'm not getting an email from a bank that I don't bank with or a text message from a bank that I don't bank with saying there's a problem with your account. I mean, it's easy to fall victim, isn't it?
100%. And what they're counting on is that they only have to be right once. We need to be right every day in every conversation. So this is where speed, and everyone's here for speed. We want immediate communication, immediate answers. So you get a text, you get an email. Are you stopping to think, wait, that doesn't sound right? And so I think what we all need to remember is the bad guys need to be right once. You need to be right every day. So it is time to step back and think through that. Do I know this? Does this sound like it's really from my bank? Would they use this type of language with me? Does it sound a little artificial, if you will? But it's really, really important to step back and take a moment to think, is this right? Do I feel good about it? And my best advice to everybody is pick up the phone. If it doesn't sound right, if it's not from your relationship manager or account executive, pick up the phone. They're never going to be bothered that you wanted to know, is this right? Is this accurate?
Well, I love it that your bank cares so much about its clients that you're kind of digging into their business. And you were sharing a story about a CEO who is still doing old-fashioned writing, signing checks.
Right. So again, this is a great example of where someone became a very successful entrepreneur, started a business, and when they started this business, that is the way you handled it. You wrote your checks, you used paper, you weren't using new payment types, and the business grew, things became much more successful, much larger, and what had happened is that the business had grown, but the level of sophistication and the way they were handling their treasury simply had not. So as part of just a regular conversation about what are you doing, what is your process, we really were able to discover that there were simply better ways to do this. So transforming the way the client actually used the banking system. So going from writing checks, and by the way, the U.S. is still the largest writer of checks, bar none, but really to transform the way they were doing business, to go from paper to electronic. And now we have instant payments where you can transact 365, 24 hours a day, and how to use that effectively. But what this really did was free up time for I don't think anyone thinks signing checks is a strategic high-value effort. So take that time that he and his team were using to prepare manual checks and having wet signatures put on them to really free that up, have more security, more visibility, more control, and give time back to really high-value activities. So yes, was it a great story for Texas Capital? Yes. Was it a bear story for the business? I absolutely think so.
And their success is your success.
100%.
We're going to scroll down your website, and I think I speak for many Americans who they're just using a fraction of the services that any bank provides. I mean, you're more than a place to have a checking account. So talk about some of the services that you provide.
I think this is where the transformation journey at Texas Capital has really been impactful. So yes, do we offer checking accounts? Do we offer money market accounts? But we also offer a fully digital bank, Basque Bank, which has been a very big success for us in the high yield savings business. But that's on the consumer side, totally transforming to what are we doing for the companies, the corporations, the municipalities in the state of Texas. We have a fully formed investment bank that offers the ability to raise capital, provide advice, and help clients really access the capital markets
So when we talk to you about an appropriate capital structure, if that includes something that doesn't look like a bank loan, we have the ability to actually not only advise on that, but to execute on that. So I think that's really what people may not really fully appreciate about Texas Capital is we are certainly a commercial bank. That is what we do, and that's the center and how we got started. But really the full service financial services we offer with an investment bank, with a private bank for those individuals who have more complex financial needs, plus banking municipalities, companies, and organizations that need to raise money. So full service.
One of the things I love about Texas Capital is you guys have become a very large bank, but you still act like a community bank, like you know people's names. So talk a little bit about the types of associates that you bring in and their role in being ambassadors.
One of the things I think has been most exciting for us as part of this transformation journey is we started a training program for individuals right off the campus. I mean, literally first job after they graduate from college. So we bring in anywhere from 50 to 60 to 70 new colleagues right off the campus, and we are training those individuals certainly in how to underwrite credit, how to understand what a client needs, but also the importance that people do business with people. And so how do you have a client relationship where you're actually seeking to understand what their issues are, what are the challenges they face? Because if you're in oil and gas, that challenge is very different than you run an insurance company or a broadcasting business. So how do you have that conversation with a client first before you start offering solutions? So I've been very, very happy and proud to be part of an institution that's bringing up the next generation of bankers. And my family is a long-term banking family, so I think it's really one of the best things that Texas Capital has done is start a training program for the next generation who are going to help lead Texas and the U.S. In the next decades that will be no doubt just as challenging.
I love it. Nancy, you inspire me. Final thoughts. What would you like to leave people with?
I think because it is Cybersecurity Month and fraud awareness, please, if you have a doubt, if you have the vaguest whisper in your gut or in your mind that something's not right, pick up the phone. It'll be well worth it to take that extra 5 minutes, 3 minutes, whatever it is. Artificial intelligence is here. Embrace it, understand it, use it. But when it comes down to your money, if you're not sure, pick up the phone, talk to somebody you know. And I think that's why it's important to know who you're banking with.
Outstanding. You've been an amazing guest. We're going to have you back again soon. We're going to end with the website, which is, of course, TexasCapitalBank.com. The great Nancy McDonnell. Thanks for coming on the show.
You're very kind. Thank you, Jeff. It's a pleasure.
That's it for now. We'll see you next time.